So, hello, I'm Laura O'Brien. I'm a successful author and spiritual entrepreneur who runs a multi-stream business in Irish pagan publishing and education. And we're here doing some free 15-minute business consultations with some of my community. So would you like to introduce yourself and tell us where in the world you're joining in from here? I'm in Ireland, so.
Okay, so my name is Mariana. I'm from Brazil, and I run this blog, which in Portuguese is called something like Modern Fairy. Through this blog, I try to inspire people to follow, like, embrace their spiritual path and live a more meaningful life. So the tagline is like practical tips for a magical life.
Nice.
So that's what I'm trying to help people with. I've been in this alternative spirituality, I don't know, witchcraft kind of stuff, since adolescence. That how I say it. I guess that's how it is for most of us, right?
Yeah.
So 4 years, for the last 4 years, I've been doing on and on the blog thing, but since September 2019, I've been doing it really serious and trying to really help people the most and turn it into a business. So this is my why, to make people like feel they are really living, not just like paying bills and waiting for that, to
Yeah.
really feel that they are embracing this life. So this is it.
Okay, that's brilliant. Well done. And how much content is up on your blog right now, do you think? So how many years did you say you've been?
4 years on and off, maybe 60 blog posts, 70,
Okay,
something like that.
cool. And do you have any kind of like tracking on it? So do you know how many visitors you get or anything like that? Like say per month, would you have an
Yes.
idea?
I mean, I've been doing Facebook ads to my lead magnet to get people on my email list. So I don't know if the numbers are accurate. Like they're not coming just from Google search or this kind of stuff. But I have like uh, 3,000 visitors a month,
Great.
roughly.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have an email list. That's brilliant. That was going to be my next question. So you don't have to if you want to share how many are on the email list. It's not about the size of your list, it's about the engagement, right? So it's not a numbers game, but it just gives us an indication of how many would be on your list and how often do you currently contact them.
Okay, so there are 1,900, like 1900, that's it, 1,900
Yeah.
people on my list now. I feel it's pretty decent size. I mail them every week. I mostly mail them with content, so sometimes it's fresh content, like I could use it in a blog post, but I use it in the email list.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a roundup, like how and stuff, so how to celebrate it, and then I do a roundup of posts I did about this topic. And my question actually is about this, because I feel like the email list is where I can serve my people most.
Yeah.
Like they already told me, yes, Mariana, I want to be part of your list. I want to talk to you in some kind of way, but I don't have what I think is a good open rate. Like it ranges between 6% and 12%. So I'm like, how can I help people more? I know they want to be helped, right? Because they are there, but how can I make it serve them more? So kind of like this.
Yeah, that's not a bad open rate, to be honest. Like no, it's really not. It's very hard because obviously it differs by industry, right? But it's very difficult. I mean, if you have like a standard, just like an electrical shop or hardware shop or something like that, and they're emailing with special offers and that kind of thing, right? So like that's going to be like a 1 to 2% open rate usually, but their lists are much bigger because they're collecting their customer emails all the time. So the bigger your list gets, the percentages change as well, right? So you do have to bear that in mind. Currently, I think we're getting about between 25 and 30%. It does kind of go up and down depending on which like lead magnets and it depends on where you're getting your people from as well, you know. So because our mailing list kind of covers a lot of ground, it kind of goes in phases as well. So like you'd have all the Morrigan people opening all the emails, like, you know, say now I'm going into the launch of the Morrigan intensive program, which only happens once a year. So like the Morrigan group is going to like bump up the open rates for, do you know what I mean, for that. If I'm doing an OM Journeys
Yeah.
program launch, that will, you know, because there'll be a lot of content around the OM, and then people will, so like it can vary, but it's generally between that 25 and 30%. And I would say email them more, to be honest, to increase your open rates. Yeah, and like a lot of people are quite kind of hesitant about, you know, oh, I don't want to be bothering people, I don't want to be you know, I don't want to be
Yes.
annoying people, right? But as you say, they're on your list to hear from you, right? And it's, I mean, presumably you have some kind of mailing list service that, you know, has an unsubscribe link at the bottom. So if they don't want to hear from you, they can just unsubscribe, you know. Like I remember the first time that John looked at our unsubscribe, like, so when you send out an email, you get a certain amount of bounces, right? It's churn. It's the industry term for it. So people just bounce off your list all the time, right? And John sent one of the emails out, and he was like, "Oh my God, like 5 people have unsubscribed already." I'm like, "It's all right, darling. We get like 15 or 20 could be unsubscribing every day. It's actually fine, like, you know, because those are people that don't want to hear from us, and I don't want to be bothering them, you know." So like that's what I was talking about, the numbers, like it's, you know, it's about how engaged they are and all that. So to pick up your engagement, engage with them more, you know. And especially when you're giving them content, you know, you're not advertising to them every fucking email, you know, you're not you know, you're not annoying them, like you're actually giving them resources. And if they don't want to be on your email list and they don't want to get resources from you, then they can just fuck off, right? And like, to be perfectly honest, I have said that on occasion to my email, you know, it's like, here's your annual, like, unsubscribe if you don't want to be here, you know. And I actually do that to keep a kind of a tighter, cleaner email list, you know. And it's horrible. It's horrible when like 100 people unsubscribe after you send an email. It's like, what did I do? Why don't you love me? You know, but those are
Why don't you
normal.
want to be help?
I know. Those are normal human feelings, and those people will either get their help somewhere else or they won't. And, you know, we can't take responsibility for that. But you know, like send them an email and say, you know, I'd really like to email you twice a week or 3 times a week, you know. And I know it's more, but like it can be a very short email. Like, I love sending curated content. So because of all our Facebook groups and all the stuff that we run, and most people run a fairly kind of engaged social media feed, right? I just, like, I go on every time something pops up on my feed that's interesting, I save it in like just Google Keep or something, you know. So it's there on my phone, and then I can just pop it into an email. It takes me like 2 or 3 minutes to send a resource to my email list, right? So, you know, it doesn't have to be fresh content that you're creating for them all the time. It can be resources that are, you know, are of interest and of value to them as well, right? Because you're still helping them, you know. And you can just make it a little bit easier on yourself if you want to like up your content. And obviously then, you know, as you grow, like I'm able then to send people towards like other native, like in my particular business, other native Irish bloggers or authors or that you know don't have the reach that I have, don't have the business or the market, you know, share say that I have, right? So I'm able to then put the ladder down and bring other people up, because people are used to getting resources, they're used to trusting the resources that come from me then, you know. And obviously I'm not sending anything that is shit, or that, you know, that I wouldn't, that I didn't find interesting, right? And I know you're not always your own
Right?
avatar, right? You know, you're not always your own customer, and you do have to like put yourself into their mind, but generally you will have a good feel for the type of thing that's going to be useful, right? And so I would say go up to like even 3 times a week, right? But send them an email first and just say, you know, in the subject line, like something like, you know, like you make it timely, you know, it's a very difficult time right now and I really want to help you, you know. And a subject like that is going to is going to get people's attention because it's relatable. You know, most people are going through, or at least they can recognize that the world is going through a difficult time right now. So, you know, they're there to be helped. They're there to get value and to get resources from you. So it's going to at least kind of make them curious. And with an email like that as well, you can also, on most of the email programs, you can send it to unopened. So like in a couple of days, you know, or even a week, next week, send it to whoever didn't open that first email. And then within that email, just say like, we're going to go up to 3 times a week. And I would absolutely love to hear from you what you want from me, you know. So hit reply right now, and you know, get them back engaging with you. Like, do you have a question that I can answer? Do you have a problem that I can solve? You know, and just really engage. And this is the service part, right? So I talk about community, service, and offer, and this is your service part. So that's the bit that you need to kind of up your game on currently, right? Because if you're not getting that engagement, then you don't know what their problems are, and you don't know how you can help that. So you don't know what kind of an offer to make, right? So I would say that's your next step. And, you know, you can keep it spiritual, you can keep it uplifting, you can keep it, you know, whatever, but like, don't be afraid to, like, you know, like, Mary asked me in your next email, you know, Mary asked me XYZ question, and here's my answer to it, or here's the resources I found for it, or whatever, and make them then your, you know, your content, and just up that engagement, because people love to see their name on an email coming in. Like, they, you know, they love that personal attention, you know, and they love to know that you're actually listening to them. And like, we don't see it from our side, but it's, you know, there is almost like, you know, you're a person on a blog, like, so you're, you know, you're a published author, right? You have some element, at least, of like a celebrity status, right, in their minds. And I know it sounds weird even saying that, but that's just how human brains work, right? And you know, when you get that engagement, you get that personal feedback. So like, tell them that you're, you know, you're really serious. You really want to hear from them. You really care about what's happening in their lives, and you really want to help them. You know, and do that for a couple of months, I would say, even, and you know, and increase, if you want to increase your blog content and send them fresh content. But you can just, like, 3 times a week, you could send them a blog post, you could send them a resource that you found, and you could send them a community question answered, you know. And there's 3.
So easy.
I know. I know. And it's a simple solution. It's a simple next step, but actually doing it consistently is where the difficulty comes in. Believe me, I know that.
So consistency is the key, right? And
Yes.
actually, the thing.
Yeah, no, it really is. So just for your own sake, set a day, you know, set 3 days that you're going to do it. Practically, like, if there's something that you're already doing 3 days a week, say, like, once I do that thing, then I'm going to, you know, if there's a class you're taking, or if there's somewhere you go, or, you know, whatever, your own life, on those days, like, I'm going to do that thing, and then straight after that, I'm going to email my list. Or just before I head out the door or, well, we're not really heading out the door now, but, you know, just before I walk the dog on, you know, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to email my list. And then, you know, exactly, and it becomes a routine then. And it's, you have to find little triggers. So it's not just a case of, I'm going to do this every Monday and Wednesday and Friday. It's like, exactly when am I going to do this? Like, where does that fit into my day? What's going to be the prompt? Like, am I going to set an alarm to remind me to, like, now is the time to do this? Am I going to eat my lunch and then do it? Am I going to, you know, have breakfast and then do it? Like, food is a great one, right? Am I going to get out of the shower and then do it straight away? You know, like, whatever you're doing, and do set an alarm, mark your calendar, you know, whatever, put it on your to-do list, whatever system you're using, or start one. Not everybody uses systems, Laura, just me. But yeah, so does that give you the next stage?
Yes, really clear next step. Thank you. If it's okay, I'd like to ask this other question. That is like, I'm really this rational type of gal, right? So I do things like really metaphysically and rational, but this is a spiritual thing, right? It's a spiritual calling. And sometimes I feel like I could be more led, like maybe listen more to the spiritual side of things, to the callings, and less like do it, do it, do it, you know, in a rational way.
I do know, yes. I am pretty driven. I am kind of known for being a driven sort of a person.
Yes,
Do it.
that's it.
Yes. So is your question like how do you kind of make more space for that spiritual
Yes.
side of things? Yeah. Okay. So you are the day before you're emailing, or the morning of the day that you're going to email your list, right? So you have it set, you have your process mapped out, right? So take a few minutes and light a little candle before, okay? Just actually sit down, take a few breaths, light a little candle, or step out into the garden, or open a window or whatever, right? Whatever's meaningful for you. And just take a few minutes, take a few breaths, and ask spirit, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's God's guides and guardians, I kind of, generally term it. Ask spirit, how can you best be of service today? Like with that kind of in mind, I'm just about to email my community. I really want to help. And if nothing else, it gets you into that framework of your intent for what you're doing, and that will be felt. I know we're working with technology, but I teach online classes. I do a lot of guided journeying and all that. And like technology doesn't have to be a barrier. It can be a carrier, I didn't mean that to rhyme, but, it's energy, right? We're working with energy here. Like all this technology, all this, like it's literally just capturing and channeling energy. So that you can carry that through your email list, to the people that you want to help, and just taking a little kind of heart focused few minutes before you do that, opening for communication in whatever way that happens or whatever way that looks like to you. You might get a message, you might change your mind completely on what you had planned to send that day. You might add a little PS at the end. By the way, I got a little message from Spirit today that we should all be kinder to animals, or whatever, like whatever whatever that looks like, right? Whatever happens, but you're making yourself available for that, and that's really important, I think, when we're running these type of businesses. That it's an excellent question, that we don't lose track of the heart of what we're doing.
Yes. Thank you so much again.
You're
It's
welcome.
so simple but so meaningful. Like I really love your no nonsense approach to this stuff. It's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, I am known for being driven and for being a bit of a bitch, but I'm okay with that. I've made my peace. I am at peace with this. All
Awesome.
okay. Okay, no bother. So I'm going to finish up the recording here, and we do have more. So definitely, if you're watching this on the YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications, and do all that good stuff. Okay. See you in the next video.